Robin, how are you today?
Hi, I'm pretty good, I guess.
Pretty good. So I'm Melissa. I'm the student nurse that worked with you last week.
Yes, I remember you.
You remember? Sometimes it's hard to keep things straight in here. So how are you doing lately?
I guess I'm doing a bit better.
Doing a bit better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still trying to work through things, but...
Yeah. And when you say work through things, what exactly, can you make that a little more specific for me?
I guess just like figuring out what's going on with my life.
Right.
Just getting my relationship better with my parents and
Right.
figuring out what I want to do after high school. Just trying to figure it all out and get a plan.
Okay. Yeah, I remember last time we talked, you said you were kind of stressed about what was to come and just feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Has some of those feelings subsided, or are you still feeling...
I guess they're still there.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been trying to think past them and whatnot, but that's not always easy, I guess.
No, it's not. Not when they're weighing you down a little bit.
Yeah.
So one thing I thought we would try today is just to kind of do a little bit of brainstorming. So these ideas can be as wild or as realistic as you want, but just to kind of think about what your ideal future would be and what you'd like to see for yourself in the future. Can you think of any?
Well, okay, we talked about last time, I guess math has been a strong point for mine.
Right, yeah.
So maybe going to university.
Okay.
Yeah, I could become a teacher.
Right.
I don't know, I guess school's been hard, so there's always dropping out.
Right.
I guess kind of out there.
Yeah. That's okay. That's the whole point of brainstorming, though, is just to...
Yeah.
It can be as crazy as...
I could maybe tutor. Help other kids in my class. Maybe it would get me a bit closer with my classmates, too.
Right.
Kind of helping them out.
Because you're saying at school you kind of felt... You had your one friend that you were close with, but then you sort of didn't really feel connected to a lot of the other students.
No, so maybe that could help some.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think in terms of moving forward? So you're in your last year of high school right now. Okay. So how many months until you graduate?
3.
Okay, so you have 3 months until you graduate. So what do you think out of all those possibilities that you just spelled out would be the one that you want to kind of focus on the most? What feels most important to you, do you think?
I guess getting into a university, really.
Getting in, right.
Yeah, just getting started.
Right, getting your foot in the door and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what sort of steps do you think you need to take in order to make this goal happen?
Well, I have to apply.
Right.
Yeah. Keep my grades up. Like, my math mark's good, but maybe I have to work on some of my other marks.
Okay.
Have
you considered what schools? Just out of curiosity?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
No. I'm open to anywhere, really.
Right.
Yeah. Haven't thought it through much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I could talk to the guidance counselor at my school.
Right. That's that's a really good strategy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would kind of know what schools offer what programs and all kind of things. So the problem with goals too sometimes, not the problem, I didn't mean to say, but they can be kind of challenging to set a goal and then try to achieve it over a long period of time. So is there anything that you think will keep you motivated in terms of reaching this goal?
I guess just going to university and stuff is kind of a chance to start over, maybe make some new friends and stuff, so I guess that would keep me looking forward to reaching that, and just kind of, I know I want to be a math teacher, so if I keep that in mind, I think it would.
If you kind of remind yourself that that's sort of what you're...
Yeah.
Do you think maybe writing that down and keeping it in a place that you might see every day would help? I'm just trying to think, it's... Like right now when we're talking, it's easy to remember, but maybe in like a month and a half when exams are coming up and you get stressed, you might lose that kind of train of thought.
Yeah, I guess that would be good to just constant reminder to keep myself going.
Right. The other thing I find too with goal setting is sometimes it helps to kind of share your goal. So is there anyone that you could maybe talk to about, I know you mentioned the guidance counselor, which is an awesome resource, and in terms of talking to your parents or your friend, would that be beneficial for you, do you think?
Yeah, like I guess my parents, they've always been very hard on me about school and stuff, so I guess knowing that I have plans for the future and knowing what I want to do, I guess they'd probably be excited to talk about that and help me with that.
Right, and you think they'd be willing to, they would definitely be willing to help out. So you're saying you haven't mentioned this to them yet?
No, not much.
Okay. The other thing, too, to think about is, so you were in the hospital for your Tylenol overdose, and we want to make sure that when you leave here, you're feeling healthy and strong, and you're not in a place where you want to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think we can maybe address some goals in terms of staying mentally healthy? And
Yeah, that would be okay.
yeah. So you had said before you did your overdose that you were feeling really stressed and that maybe not being here would be better.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any kind of outlet that you have or ways that you, like once you're feeling a trigger, is there strategies that you have that you can do to kind of relieve some of that?
I guess I haven't really been the best at that so far.
Right.
My friend's always been there to help, and
To kind of listen.
I guess
Yeah.
listening to music and stuff calms me down sometimes, kind of makes me feel better, so
Okay.
yeah.
So before your Tylenol overdose, when you were feeling anxious, what kind of, do you think you'd be able to recognize those triggers? Like once you're feeling really stressed, like what kind of happens internally and externally?
Yeah, I guess when I get stressed to that extent, I just kind of block everything out, and
Okay.
that's all I seem to focus on.
Right.
And I guess I kind of have to get myself thinking about other things in the future, kind of would probably
Okay.
help me realize how I was feeling.
Right. So sort of like once you start to feel that initial stress, we want to try to avoid you from getting to that point of not being able to think clearly.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe listening to a little bit of music would help calm you down?
Yeah, it definitely calms me down, and
Yeah.
maybe it would get me in the right mindset again and kind of rethinking things.
Definitely. And does your friend kind of know, has she ever seen you kind of be stressed like that and escalate? Where do you think it would help if a friend knew and could maybe point out some of the triggers?
Yeah,
Or-
probably.
Yeah.
I guess this time around I was just so far gone that I didn't
Right.
talk to her about it, but in the past, anytime that I've got really anxious and stressed out, she's been there to help.
Okay. So that's great having that kind of support system.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of staying mentally healthy, we talked about recognizing that trigger, and then maybe once you start to feel yourself anxious, to take that little time out.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think in terms of motivating you to stay healthy? What would be some goals? Not goals, I guess, but what will keep you motivated to kind of take the time out versus letting yourself go to pick an option like the Tylenol?
I guess just really keeping my future in mind.
Yeah.
Knowing that I do have options and I can do something with my life, and why would I kind of end it now
Right.
if that is a possibility? I
Right.
guess. Just kind of keeping those things in mind.
Right.
Remembering that I do have people
Yeah.
here that do care about me, so.
Yeah, I think that's a huge one as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I think maybe staying mentally healthy kind of sounds like a shorter term goal, because we want to make sure you get through these last couple months and work towards your goal of applying for university, and then the university application can happen now, but then that's kind of like a bit of a long term goal.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we'll just review, I guess, some of the strategies we thought we would talk about or consider in terms of applying to university.
Sure.
So, can we talk about... I don't want to just reviewing sort of what we had said about applying for university. So can you remember what you kind of set out as a plan?
Yeah, like I guess it's probably good for me to start by looking into different universities.
Right.
Where I'm not really sure which one I want to go to yet.
Right.
Maybe talk to the counselor about that.
Right.
I know my friend went to her and she had got all kinds of pamphlets and stuff about the different places they could go, so
Oh, okay.
it would probably be a good start for me, and
Definitely.
getting my grades up in some of my other classes.
Okay.
Um,
And do you think you would need a tutor for those other classes? I know you mentioned tutoring in math, but do you think are there tutors that might be able to help you in the others, or do you think you need that?
I guess it's a possibility.
Right.
It might just be me not trying as hard too, I guess, where
Okay.
I haven't always thought about what I wanted to do with my future, so
Right.
where it didn't matter, I didn't always try the hardest in those classes.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess if I just try a bit harder for the finals in those ones,
Right.
I would be able to bump my grades up.
And then Perfect.
Yeah, and then focus on applying different places. And
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just remembering that the biggest thing is trying to find reasons to stay motivated. So making sure that you kind of, I mean, it's whatever works best for you. So if writing it
Yeah.
down and seeing it every day helps, or if sharing it, but what do you think, I guess? Just
no,
reiterating.
I agree with those.
Yeah.
I think telling people would definitely help. Like my parents would, I know they'll be super excited to hear
Right.
that I'm thinking about that. And
Right.
I think if I told them, they might be a constant reminder too, because they would also like always be asking about it and
Right.
keeping me going. So
Okay. So it sounds like it's a realistic goal, something that you're really motivated about, and with with high school finishing up soon and university in the possible future.
yeah,
And it sounds like you have a couple strategies picked out. And then in terms of staying mentally healthy, we kind of talked about that as well. So maybe recognizing your own triggers. Is there specific situations that make you more anxious than others, or?
I guess just maybe weeks that I have a lot of homework going on.
Right.
Sometimes I get in fights with my parents. It's
Yeah.
usually over stupid stuff, but when all that stuff piles up together, that's usually when I get stressed out and
Okay.
just not always coped the way I should.
Right. And maybe, those are the weeks that you can almost plan it. We like to call it self-care. So taking time to do something that's entirely for you. And when you know that you have those busy weeks up to, just like you schedule time for your homework, it's make sure you schedule that time for you. And then that way you can kind of address it before you even feel those
Yeah.
kind of triggers. So
I think that would be a good idea.
yeah. And if music works for you, it's, make sure you have that half an hour for you that you can just put your favorite song on and lay back and relax.
Mm-hmm.
Have you considered other things that help you de-stress? Or is music your main one?
I guess hanging out with my friend
Yeah.
as well. She's really good at being there when I need to talk or just not even talk, get my mind off things.
Right,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so that would probably be good too. Maybe just hanging out with her. We can go for a walk even to de-stress.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds good. Do you have any questions for me before I go?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No,
So I'm going to go check in on my other patients, and then I'll come back to see you in a little bit.
that's good.
Okay, thanks, Robin.